2025 was a huge year for me, and I cannot be more grateful for having finished my PhD. First of all, yes. And in today's video, I wanted to share with you what other things that I've been working on this year and also the things that I wasn't able to achieve as I have set it up my goals in the beginning of the year. Hi, my name is Rafaela. I'm an educational sociologist based in Tokyo. In this channel, I share about my academic life and also my post-PhD lifestyle. So if you're interested in those kind of videos, please subscribe to the channel. Alright, so I will be dividing my 2025 review into two big sections. The first one will be my work and study review, and the second one will be my private life review. So just for a little context, I do research about Brazilians living in Japan. I'm an educational sociologist, so I research the educational impact in the life of Brazilians living in Japan and how the society actually impacts the life and education of Brazilians in Japan. And in that context, I have done several researches and also have published research and also done some conferences, presentations. So I will be sharing with you about those accomplishments. So first of all, again, I was able to finish my PhD, which is huge. Obviously, that's something that I have been working for the last few years. So it's not something that I accomplished only in 2025. And I think after I got my PhD, a lot of things started to really unfold in my life, which is crazy because when I was working on it, I felt like there was not many things happening in my life and that I wasn't really going towards anywhere. But once I finished my PhD, I felt like things really started unfolding and happening in a good direction. So I wanted to share that with you as well. Aside from my PhD, I was able to publish two first older papers, one in Japanese and the other one in English. It's important to mention that these papers I have been working on since last year, so it's not something that I started like doing this year. And that's why I said I published two papers. That means that in this year I worked mostly on the editing. And aside from these two papers, I also published one co-authored paper, which was also a project that we were working in the year before. So these were my paper review. I was pretty happy that I was selected to write my paper in English, which is something that happened quite unexpectedly. I attended a conference, which I'll be talking about later, and when I came back, I received the offer to publish my paper, which I was really excited and happy about that too. And the other paper was also an invitation that I received to write about my volunteer work that I do in my community. And I was really happy because I was not just able to showcase my research, but also my volunteer work, something that I do for passion. So that was the papers. And aside of that, I also worked on two grant applications. One is a major Japanese research grant that everyone applies literally every year, and that was the first time that I was applying after I got my PhD, which is a different kind of a category. And I was a little bit overwhelmed because it was during a time that I just got my new job, and I also was traveling and all those things, so it was a lot of work to do, but I managed to apply. And the other one was also exactly about the same time that I was applying, which was a book publishing fund. I didn't really plan to publish my PhD book just for this year. I was just thinking maybe next year because because it was such an intense work to actually submit my dissertation and review so many times that I just wanted to give a little time before I actually worked on publishing. And after talking to some people about my research journey and all that, they really suggested me to publish the book as soon as possible. That way the data is still fresh and people will remember my name for longer as well. So I pushed myself really hard. Aside of that, I have also been working on one book chapter that will be published in Japanese next year. This was also a collaborative research that we have been working since I think 2020 or something. And finally, we're able to make a book out of that research group. And also recently, I was accepted to publish my research on a handbook that will be published next year. And I cannot really say much about that paper because it's still on progress and also under review. So I cannot say much, but I'm super excited that it's going to be written in English and a lot more people will be reading about the research that I've been working on for the last 2 years. That was also a project aside from my PhD that I was working on. So it was really a lot. I have also done some conference presentation. I do 2 international conference presentation. One was in Canada and the second one was in Brazil, my home country. I was so excited because that was the first time that I was going to present in Portuguese. I was a bit nervous, to be honest, and I was really happy to be able to connect with so many people through my research and also to get to know more about the Brazilian educational system that I will be also using in my future research. And obviously I have done some domestic conference presentation. I think I did 3 this year. The last 2 just happened in December. I was back to back and I was presenting about 2 different topics. So it was a lot of things to prepare. So just to recall, I am an assistant professor. So I do teach at university as well. So I have taught some classes and I also transitioned to my new job this year. So I was also teaching in that university, which is super exciting because I was able to travel to Korea with my students to do some field work, and also the students from Korea, they came to Japan, which was super fun. And also I was very, very grateful to see how much my students have grown, and obviously I have grown with them as well. So I'm very excited for our next classes as well. Now let's move on to my private life. The more satisfied I am with my private life, the more energy I will have towards my academic life. So they are both very much related, and that's why I put a lot of weight on my private life as well. So let's start from the private trip. We went to Phu Quoc in Vietnam. That was our honeymoon. I was very excited because we simply had to wait a little longer to go to our honeymoon because I was super busy working on my PhD dissertation. I'm still thinking whether I should post those videos. I have taken some videos, so let me know in the comments if you want to see those videos. And the second trip that we took was to Cebu in the Philippines. Aside from these international trips, I also made some domestic trips. If you don't know, I'm originally from the Kansai region in Japan. So my mom, she still lives in the countryside. So every time there's a longer holiday, I try to go visit her or invite her to come spend some time with me. Aside from that, this year was a little special for me because I was able to go on a domestic trip with my bestie. So for me, having all these trips was really special because before I was still working on my PhD dissertation and I was very much financially unstable. So I couldn't really afford a proper international trip or domestic trip. So I was very happy that I was able to do that this year, and I hope to do a lot more next year. So now let's talk about my wellness. The first thing is about the gym. That's something that I started going, I think, about 3 or 4 years ago. I've been going once to 3 times a week to the gym. There were times that I wasn't really able to go, especially during my dissertation writing, but I really pushed myself to go because I knew how much positive impact it will bring to my body and my mind as well. So I really pushed myself. And after I finished my PhD, I also started some new hobbies, which were playing volleyball weekly. I found this international circle that they host different kind of sports activities weekly. And it's super fun because I get to know a lot of people, international people living in Tokyo. And I really like that we have been building this community that I was able to go every week and meet those friends and talk to them about life and just play volleyball as much as we'd like. Also connected to this volleyball activity, I have also been part of 2 music bands, which is something that I have done for the first time in my life. And another thing that I've been trying to incorporate at least once a month was either doing yoga or Pilates. I've been going to the gym, but I know that there are some parts of my body that I cannot really exercise very well when it comes to weight training. So I tried to go to yoga or Pilates so that I could exercise more at my core. And on that line, I have also been going to chiropractic session at least once a month. I have recently bought like a ticket so that I could go once a week because I noticed that since it's winter, my body is super tense, so I wanted to release my tension and also fix my bones as soon as possible. So I decided to buy this ticket, so I'll be going at least for 3 months every week. And I think one of the biggest life change that we had was moving apartment. I didn't really imagine that this living environment would impact so much your life. We moved into this apartment that they have a gym, a study room, and also a grocery store very close. I have been able to save a lot more time, and also I noticed that my energy is flowing a lot better as well. So the next year, one of my goals is to make our home even more homier, like cozier, so that we can relax even more in our own house. And let's not forget, let's talk about my social media. That's something that I started last year in December. My original goal was to achieve 1,000 followers for my Instagram and for my YouTube. The truth is, for my YouTube, I started kind of late. I was hoping to start a lot earlier, but since I had this job transition and I also had a lot of international trips, I wasn't really able to post as frequently as I wanted to. That's something that I really wanted to work on next year. And for my Instagram, surprisingly, I don't know what happened. I was able to achieve, I think, hopefully 20,000 followers by the time this video is uploaded. But I'm so grateful again for having connected with you. And like I mentioned in my previous video, I will be hosting a Plan 2026 with me YouTube Live next week on the 29th at 7 p.m. JST, Japan Standard Time. You might have noticed that I have accomplished quite a lot of things while also prioritizing my wellness. I'm not going to say my life is perfect, but planning has been a big part in my life so that I can balance as much as possible these two passions that I have, which is my work and my life. So if that's something that you're also passionate about, I will be really happy to see you in my YouTube live. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!